Good morning, everyone. We will still wait for a few minutes for others to join. Okay. In the last session, we have seen input stream and output stream classes. Is anybody having any questions in understanding input and output stream in Java? Any problems in the? Okay, okay, fine. Then today we can move on to readers and writers. For these classes, reader and writer, they are used for in accepting character-oriented inputs from user. So it can input the functions read and write. They are meant for character-oriented input and output. Like we have seen in the last class also, in the previous sessions, we have seen three different methods of reader-writer classes. The methods in the sense okay, so we have seen reader classes methods such as integer read. Then we have seen same function but overloading with character array over here, and same abstract function, abstract integer read with character array and offset and length. The same functions that we have seen for inputting the data using input stream for byte oriented stream. Similarly, here we are having character array instead of byte array because you are inputting the data in terms of character array using the reader class, and similarly you can write the data using the writer classes by using the writer function. Now the first example I want to show you today is inputting the data from file and outputting the data to a file by using the classes of FileReader and Writer. I am suffixing reader over here and I am suffixing writer over here, meaning both the classes are used for character oriented input output from and to files. Now before we move on to FileReader and FileWriter, what does file handling actually do, or what do you mean by file handling in Java? File handling in the sense, this file handling concept will give you different methods or functions that can do what? That can create a new file, that can write the contents into this file, that can read the contents from this file, or maybe it is updating the file, or maybe it is deleting the file. Okay. These operations can be, we can do these many operations on a file using these classes for reader and writer, using FileReader writer, and you can also use different classes such as buffered writer also, which we are going to see today itself. Buffered writer for writing to the files, again buffer reader for reading the data from the file. Okay, these are the classes used for reading and outputting the data to and from file. And what does file handling mean is, with the use of file handling concepts, file handling will give you certain mechanisms, certain methods from which you can either create a file, you can delete a file, you can write and read the contents of the file, you can also update the contents of this file. Along with the reader writer, we also have itself the class named as file, and this file class is having numerous methods. It is having lots of methods for creating the file. Once the file gets created, then only you can write the contents by FileWriter. Then only you can read the contents by FileReader. But the first step is creating the file by using the inbuilt class file, which is again there in your IO package itself. All the classes are residing in your java.io package. Okay, even reader, even writer, even the file class itself, which have mechanisms for creating the file, and writer and reader, these two classes are used for writing and reading data to and from the file. So we are going to see how to use file class in our program first, and then we are going to see how to create the file, how to get the length of the file. Different functions are there of this file, whether the file exists or not, and everything, and then we can move on to reading and writing data from and to the file. Now, whenever we go to the program and whenever we want to create the file in Java, what do we usually do? say for example, I'm creating my main class here, and I'm having my void main over here. File, I'm creating the object of file. Say for example, F. Now, this file is coming with different constructors. What type of constructors this file object can take? What type of constructor is this file class is having? The file class is having three different types of constructors. The first constructor is you can give the path of the file, the actual path where the file is, comma, name of the file. The first constructor is this. Second constructor, or second way with which you can create the object of file, is by using another constructor, only one parameter, naming the name of the file along with the path. Okay, along with the path, you need to use fully qualified name of the file. FUN is in the short form for fully qualified name of the file. Along with the location, you are mentioning the actual destination till the file exists. That is nothing but this one. And another constructor is using the file object itself inside file. You can name the parent folder. You can mention the name to the parent folder, comma, string name of the file. These are the three constructors with which you can create the file. The first one is by simply mentioning the path, comma, the name of the file, meaning the destination folder with string format, comma, the name of the file again in string. Second format is by giving the name itself. Using till the complete path you are using the name. There is only one string parameter required over here. And another constructor for creating the file is by using file of the you need to use your two objects. The first object is the file object for the parent folder, and then you can pass here the name of the file. Any of the constructors are okay for creating the file. So say for example, in this case, we are using the first constructor here. I'm using the first constructor. I am creating a file on the desktop. Okay. I am creating the file on the desktop. I am creating a simple text document. I am naming it as A. And if I go here and if I go to properties, I can get the complete path of the file. Okay. And I'm passing that path inside double quotation, comma. Now I'm passing the name of the file, that is nothing but a.txt. So you can use this constructor also for creating the file. The error is I haven't imported the IO package. Okay, so we import the IO package and yes, done. So either you can use this constructor or you can use this constructor using the complete name of the file, that is nothing but the fully qualified name. Here you need to give the path till the file, or you can also use this constructor by creating the file object first and then again making it point here to this object and then passing the name of the file. Everything is okay. Whatever you feel that it is okay. Now, if I am referring to this file, okay, whenever I am referring to this file object, whether it creates the file that we are going to see here, okay, I am saving the file for now. I am deleting this file from here, okay. I am deleting this file from here. The file at this position doesn't exist. I am going here and I am simply running this file. This should mean that at this location, file should be created. If your build is successful, the file should be created. Now, if I go on the desktop on this location, let us see the file is there or not. The file is not created. Meaning, by simply creating the file object, you cannot create the file. File object is simply used for pointing to or referring to that file which is already there at that location. By simply creating the file object, you cannot create the file. For creating the file, you need to use the function known as create new file. Create new file is a function which allows us to create the file for whatever location that we have mentioned over here. Okay. If I use this function now, it is going to create the file for sure. I'm simply mentioning that it is going to throw the exception because these are checked exceptions. Okay, you need to either surround with try and catch, or you need to mention here throw, because this location may not exist over here. Maybe user is pointing to a different location which doesn't exist in this computer. Then it can throw the exception that there is no such location as users in desktop and everything. So I am mentioning here those exception. Now I am running the file. The create new file function is going to create a file, and so you have this a.txt created over here. Okay, are you getting the difference here? By simply creating the object, you can never create a file. To create a file, you need the function create new file on that object. Once you call the create new file function at so and so location, the file gets definitely created. Whether you are using another constructor also, in any of the case it is okay, but you can create a file by using the create new file function again, which is throwing the exception that this location is not found over here. Then where will I create the file? So you need to throw the exception over here, mentioning that okay, the location is not there, you can print appropriate message, but you need to create the file if the location exists. So far, is anybody having any questions?
Ma'am, there is no read write append mode.
There is no
Read write
yes,
append mode.
there is. I am coming to that point. First we are simply creating the file. Then we are going to reading and writing and appending. Okay.
Ma'am, because in other languages, when we want to create file, we used to write mode or append mode.
That comes in FileWriter class. FileWriter class can you can mention Boolean variable here itself, whether it is true or false. If you mention here true, then it appends the data. Otherwise, it simply overwrites the file. But it is in FileWriter, not in file. Okay, it is there in FileWriter. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, once your file is done creating, you can call all the good methods of file, and you can check whether what is the length of the file, how many bytes this file is having, what is the current size of the file. You can get the name of the file. How to get the name of the file? Simply by using f.getName. Okay, you can return the name of the file. All these functions that I'm writing here, they are all the functions of file class itself. Whether the file exists or not, exists, whether it is there at that location or not. So you can call here exist function. Yes, exist function. Then again, you can check whether your file that you are currently pointing to, this file object, is a file or is a directory. That you can check you're using directory. Using the function f dot is directory or is a file. Is the file return true? This directory is going to return false over here because it is not a directory. Okay, if it is a file, then it is going to return here true, otherwise false. Is directory. These are the functions of file class itself. Then we can also print the length of the file. To print the length of the file, we use f.length function. Okay. And for deleting the file, we use delete function for sure, which we are going to see it next only after deleting the file. Whether it exists or not, that we can see. But these are the different methods by which you can get to know the length of the file, whether it is a file or is a directory, whether it exists or not, the name of the file. If you run, it is simply going to print these values itself. So, whether it is first is the name of the file, whether it is there or not, exist. Is it file? Yes. Is it directory? No. False. Length of the file is currently 0. Okay, like this. Then, if you want to delete the file, then you can simply use here. I'm going to use a command here that, or first let us say, for example, let us delete this manually. Now we can go back here and then we can mention, if it exists, then don't create the file. If it exists, if the file is there, then simply print that file exists. Okay, cannot create. Else, otherwise you can create a file using this, and then you can print here that file is created. Okay, so I can use exist like in this sense, whether the file is there or not. First time if you run, it is creating the file because it was not there. Now if you run it again, file exist cannot create. If you run it again, file exist cannot create. Getting how you can use this file exist over here. Then you can also do one more thing. If it exists, then delete the file. Okay. Otherwise, create a new file. So after it is deleting the file, no, I can print here that file is deleted. Okay. Otherwise, create the new file and mention that it is created. First case it was there, no. So file is deleted. Now if I run it again, file is created. Again, if it is existing, no, then it is going to delete the file. So the file is not there anymore. See, if I run it again, then the file will always be there. It is created over here, and you can again delete it if you want, like this. Okay. Anybody having any questions in these methods? So far, what we have seen: file class methods, file class constructor, file class method. Anybody is having any question?
Ma'am?
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, for this to work, we always have to give the address.
This name of the file.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. See, I'm giving you the path of the file where it exists. If you don't give this path, then it is created at the root folder. Root means your current folder where this file exists. If I don't give this path, no, then the file will be created in your root folder. Let me show it to you. If I create the file now and if I run it again, it is going to create in your root. Root in the sense where this EQ exists. Where this EQ is there. Let me go to this location. Properties. Okay, in this location, I am going. It is in documents. Okay, fine. Yes, see, in SRC, if we create the new file, I don't think I've given the permission. Otherwise, it is going to create the new file here itself in the root. Yes, here, see, it is there in the root. Root in the sense your SRC. SRC for TC2 for this project, that this project name, no, whatever I'm creating this project for, TC2 hierarchy. In that hierarchy, the folder is created SRC. No, SRC is the folder where every file is residing. Then it is the root folder. TC2 is the root folder for this project. No, that is created over here itself. If you don't give the path, then it is created the root itself. Yes, got it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Clear.
Yes, anybody having any further questions? You can also specify the fully qualified name that I have given like this. Then at that location, the file gets created. Whatever location you want to give, but simply creating the file object will never create the file. You need to use the file create new file function for creating that file. F dot create new file will definitely create the file. Yes. Yes. Anybody having any questions so far? Okay. Okay. Fine. Okay. Then I can move on to reader and writer. Okay, reader and writer classes, FileReader and writer, which is suffix for reader and writer. They are using suffixes as reader and writer. They are used for writing the data to the file and reading the data from a file in form of character strings, in form of characters. So those methods that we have seen in the last session for character input and output, for character writing and reading, those methods will be used here in your FileReader and writer objects classes. FileWriter class. I am simply first writing the file and then we can read the file. FileWriter class, you need to create the object of this class, and this class is taking these many constructors. The first constructor the FileWriter is taking is simply giving the name of the file here or passing the object of the file here. Meaning you are simply writing the F, whatever F you have created, no, the same F you can pass here, and the FileWriter object is enabled or created for writing the file to this destination file name. Second constructor is FileWriter. You can mention the name of the file. Also, you can mention whether you want to append the data or not to the file. So you can mention here true or false depending upon whether you want to overwrite the file completely or you want to allow appending the data to the file. And just like this, you have two more constructors, same itself, but now you are passing string name of the path, string path and the name of the file. And simple name and another is simple using, Boolean append. So you have four constructors of FileWriter class, sorry. So first is simply passing the file object, whether you want to append or not. By default, it is always false. By default, the file is always overwritten, so you don't want the file to append the content, it is always overwritten. Whenever you mention here true, no, then it becomes appending is true. Means it allows appending the data to the file. And simply by using string name of the file, you say, for example, you don't want to create the object of file. You don't want this F to be created, then also you can create the FileWriter object by simply passing this string name of the file, and along with the name you can also pass here whether you want to allow Boolean, append or not. The methods of FileWriter class, which allows us to write the data. Yes, anybody is having any questions so far? In these four constructors, anybody is having any questions? Okay. So, as I already have created this file, F. So it is already created. So I am commenting this statement because it's already there over here. Now I am creating the object of FileWriter class pointing to your F file, which is there at this location, and it may throw some exception. I need to import. Okay, importing a one file like this, or I can simply import star. So I don't need to import individual files because I will always need reader also over here. So I'm simply importing star over here. Now your F, this FW, sorry, is meant for writing the data to this destination file. So the command for this F, the function is write. Now what all parameters the write function can take? As I told you before also, this reader and writer classes, be it FileReader, buffer reader, whatever reader you are using or whatever you are suffixing the reader with, they will take character input output because they are used for character oriented stream, not byte oriented stream. Also you can pass string also because string is nothing but combination of characters. So you can also pass string, or you can even pass character array. You can write simple one integer in that file. You can even write the string for this many length. You have a big fat string, but from this string you want to only write 5 characters from 5th location. That also you can do. And similarly from the character array, this much length or this much characters I want to write from this much, from this point of, from this offset. That also you can mention. These are the overloaded methods of FileWriter class. So in the first case, I am simply using simple, hello function. I am simply using string over here. I am simply passing the string because I can write string in the file. And if you remember, we always need to close the string. If we don't close the string, there could be problems that this value is not written in the file or the stream is not pushed onto the file completely. If you open the file again, sometime it may happen that this time only it happened. The file is not written over here because I forgot to close the stream. The close function is going to explicitly write whatever leftover streams are there on this writer object to that file. So once I close, this close is acting like save and exit of our windows. Whenever you are creating some file and whenever you are writing something, you will cross it. It is asking whether you want to save it or not. This option for saving and saving the data to the file, this is enabled by the use of close function over here. So to save the data, we always use close function. Now we run the file and now we open the file. The data on the file will be written for now. The size may be increased. Yes, 6 bytes is there. If you open, it is writing these bytes on the file. Yes. Anybody having any questions so far in the write function that you have seen now? If I write here hello world now, okay, and if I run it again, then as the file writer is not meant for appending the file, the data on the file will always be replaced. See, it is always replacing the data on the file. It is not a, whatever you are writing here, whatever contents you are writing here, then these contents are overwritten over here. If I open the file in append mode, then only I can overwrite the contents of the file. To make the file open in append mode, we use this constructor and we pass here true. By default, it is always false. We pass here true. Now we run it again. It is going to overwrite the contents. It means it is going to append the file. So from this point onwards, however number of times you run, the content will be always overwritten on your file. If you run the file again, and if you open the file, the contents will be overwritten over here. Right. Yes, anybody having any questions so far? Yes, regarding FileWriter, anybody is having any questions? How to create the object of FileWriter, the use of close function in FileWriter. Another constructor, no, let me show this also to you. The same thing is there. If you don't want to create the object of file, then you can make this point to, I'm making this point to that location. Again, it is possible, you can directly mention the string itself. If you run it again, it is going to point to the same file, of course. If you open it, it is going to append one more time hello over here. Right. Again, if you want to, if you don't want to append, you can remove that true. This file constructor, the fourth one. Okay. And again, if you run the file, now the contents will be overwritten, and you can see that only one string is there in the file. Only 6 bytes are there in the file. Yes, sir. Anybody having any questions so far?
Ma'am, if we want to create any file in FileWriter, how can we do that?
Okay. Creating the file in FileWriter is not possible. Creating the file using file class is possible. FileWriter is simply targeted for writing the data to the file. Yes, sir. Writing the data in the append mode or writing the data without append mode, it is only used for these purposes. See, there are only these many constructors over here. You cannot create a file using FileWriter. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Anybody having any questions?
Ma'am,
Yes. Yes.
ma'am, if a.text file doesn't exist, then it will show error.
Yes. 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 Let me show it to you. If it doesn't exist, okay. So I am simply pasting this file over here, and now the file is not there. I am deleting this file from here. Okay, the file is not there. If we run the program again, let us see what is happening. It will write to what file? It is creating the file. Oh yes, Vidhi. Yes. Your point, Vidhi. You told me no. See, now it is creating the file again. Yes, yes, yes. So FileWriter will create the file any which way. If it is not there, then it creates the file. Yeah.
Yes,
If
ma'am.
the file was not there, no, it is creating the file and writing the data to the file. Yes, yes, yes. It is possible. See. Yeah. Yes. Anybody having any further questions? Same way you have string, no? Same way you can add integers also. Okay. If I write here 10, then it is going to be an integer, not a string in file. The reason I am asking you to write integers is because you will be writing the, it is not writing the file, wait. I have closed it. I am pointing to this file. I am writing some integer, or maybe let us write string itself. Whether it is writing or not, it is a question now. If we run it again, let us see if it is writing the file or not. Yes, it is writing. Okay, correct. Okay, yes, yes. So whether you want to write integer or string, it doesn't matter. For whatever values you want to write, it is okay. The reason we write integer is because we want to extract integer from the file. If I run it again, I want to see the integer writing over here, where it is not writing the integer. I write here 65 as in A, capital A. Let us see if it is able to write or not. Yes, it is writing A. So it is taking in the character itself. I told you, no, character value. So integer is not possible. To write integer, you need to again, write string only. In terms of integer, in the sense, this. You can write integer 10 like this. Then it will append. It will write to the file. But 10 is a non-ASCII value, no? So it is not writing. Yes. Okay. Do you got what I was doing here? At 10, I was not able to write in form of integers. Then I wrote 65. 65 got written in form of A, capital A, because character value I can write. It is used for character oriented stream only. No, so I can write characters over here. That is okay. 65 is written as A over there. Then to write 65 actually in terms of numbers, I need to write it in double quotation in form of a string. Then only I can write it in the file. That the problem you got, no, here, what I have shown you. Yes.
So ma'am, it will explicitly convert it into ASCII value.
Yes, into character.
And ma'am, if we do the same in byte file, then
In the byte file also it is going to write in terms of bytes only. That is character only. In byte file also same thing. If you use input stream reader or if you use a file input stream, the same thing is happening. You can write the terms, you can write the data in terms of bytes only. That is in character itself. If I comment this out for now, okay, I'm commenting it out for now. Okay, I am writing the data using file output stream. For that, you need to create the object of file output stream because you are writing the data to the file. So in that case, you need to file Oh yes, here itself. Yeah. Then I can pass the name of the file. Okay. The accepting file object. No. So let us create the file object and then we can pass that directly. Yes. I'm writing this data to this file F using the methods write. The same thing is happening there also. If I write to 65 now, then it is going to convert itself into, because see, here you can write integer like this. Whatever integer you are writing, it converts to character and then stores it in the file. Right? See, if I do fo.close here now, and if we run the file, then it writes A is form of character. A in form of character. Because you can write integers over here. You can write integer, no problem. But whatever integer you are writing here, no. It should be an ASCII value. If you write here 10 is having no ASCII value. So for whatever value you run this program, it prints nothing over it, writes nothing over here. Same in the case with reader and writer also. For whatever value you are writing over here, you need to mention this 10 in terms of string like this. But again, this file output stream cannot use strings. It requires byte only. So this has to be in terms of byte, not in form of string. But strings can be written using the file FWRite, FileWriter's write. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Yes, anybody having any questions so far? Yes, anybody having any questions so far? Okay.
No, ma'am.
Yes, okay. Then we can move to reader. Reader is reading, it is used for reading the file, that we all know. So we can create the object of FileReader. FileReader FRC, for example, equals to new FileReader. And the same way, you can give here file name, string file name also, that is okay. Or you can even pass the name of the file object. I'm simply passing F over here, that is okay. If you want to read the file, then the methods for reading the file is read itself. And if you remember in the last class, it returns the integer. Integer will return you -1 if you have reached the end of the file. So if I want to read the data from this file till it reaches the end of the file, I will create a loop in such a way that for whatever data that you are reading from the file, or whatever this fr is reading from the file, fr.read whatever you are reading from the file till your end of file is not achieved, meaning till your read function is not retrieving your end of file, till that time we want to read the data. And at the same time what I can do is, for whatever the amount of data it is reading, I can store it in some variable. I'm storing the value in some variable. Say for example I itself, I'm storing this data whatever it is reading till end of the file in a variable named I, which is nothing but of type integer. I'm naming it as 0 initially. Okay, then whatever value it is reading currently, it is reading simultaneously and storing it in I. And if this read is not returning -1, meaning till your i's value is not becoming -1, till you have not reached the end of file, till that time you can read the data and you can print this I. Obviously, whatever you are reading over here, it is going to be in terms of integer. But if you want the char value of it, you can convert it into character like this. So say for example, if my file has these values, hello, okay, I'm saving the file, I'm going back here, and now if I run the file, it is going to read till the end of the file is achieved, and it is going to print the data till, why it is not printing, I have to see. Your read is fr, okay. Fr, I'm opening the file, okay. Then I am pointing to the same file itself. Is the file open anywhere? Yes, see, if the file is open, then also reading is not possible. Let me close all the files. Okay. Let us see the data on this file. Yes, we have hello written over here. Okay. If we come back here, I am reading the file using fr. Until it becomes -1, you need to read the file. So you need to print it. But it is not going inside at all. Fr. I'm pointing to the same file. The file is there. I am pointing to the same file. Okay, till is equals to is not equals to 0, not equals to -1. Yes, I need to read the file till your I is not equals to -1. When it becomes equals to -1, you need to terminate the loop. No, the loop was incorrectly formed. Yes, till you have not reached the end of the file, or till your I is not equals to -1, till that time you need to read. As soon as your I becomes -1, you have reached the end of the file, you can terminate reading it, and the loop is going to exit itself. Now it can print the characters. See, it is printing the characters fine now. Great. Yes. Anybody having any questions so far with the read function? If you are not comfortable with this method of reading, what else you can do? You already know the function read, right? So you can read the data in some character array. Say for example, I'm using some array over here, which is of type character. Okay, so I'm creating a character array. Okay, and I'm creating it till the length of the file is there. Length of the file in the sense I can use f.length. No, so I'm using it. I'm creating the array for the length of the file. Okay, it returns long. So I'm okay converting it into integer. That is okay for me. F.length returns long. I'm converting it into integer. I'm creating the array for that much number of size. I'm reading the data in that array, and then if you don't want to use this loop, you can directly use the loop for printing the data, because now the data is read and fed into this array. So you can directly print this array. For I equals to 0, you can run this loop till arrays.length, and you can print your character. Even that is also okay. For whatever read method you want to do, that is okay. You can read array of I. Like this also you can do. Okay, I'll comment this out. Yes. And now if you run, it is going to print the same thing, hello itself. Okay, it is printing hello itself over here. So you can do that way also. You can create the array for so and so file length. It is going to return the number of bytes only. The number of characters this file is having, Number of bytes. 1 byte is 1 character itself. Okay, over here. If you, whenever you are writing, say for example, you want to write A, then your A is nothing but going to be occupying 8 bits. That is 1 byte. So whatever character that you are writing A, it is converting itself into ASCII value and storing it in form of A. But again, it is going to occupy 8 bytes only. It is nothing but, sorry, 8 bits only, nothing but 1 byte. So 1 character is 1 byte in your file. 2 characters means 2 bytes in your file. So however number of characters that you have, that is written in the length function, returns the total number of bytes in the file. And that many number of characters are going to be there in the file. So you create the array of that much size, and then you can read into that array and you can print that array. Whatever you feel comfortable, it is okay. Yes, are you getting both these read methods over here? Yes. Anybody having any question? Yes, yes.
Ma'am, we can't see the output in one line like hello like, as a string.
Oh, yes, yes. You can convert. No, see, if you have this character array, no, you can convert your array to string. String str equals to new string. You can pass this array over here. And then instead of simply printing this in, like this way, you can, print the string, right? Sorry, str. Now, if you run, it is going to print one big fat string, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes. This is not there in your syllabus, but I'm showing you one more thing. You can also read the file using scanner. If you are not comfortable with FileReader, then you can also read the file using scanner. But first, FileReader and writer both are clear, then we can move on to the next topic. Yes, is FileReader and writer clear in your mind?
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody having any questions? Okay. Okay. Then I can show you another way also for reading the data and writing it to the file. For reading it specially using scanner. How you can do using scanner? We always create scanners object for, see, you always create using input stream source. Whenever you are writing the system.in, in the bracket, it is nothing but you are mentioning that I want to access input stream over here using console. But if I don't want this in, I can pass this f over here. If I pass this f, it can read the data from the file. Now, henceforth, this scanner's object scan is only and only meant for reading the data from this file. It will not accept data from user. It will not do console input output. It will only do file input output. This object is currently pointing to this file. So it is only going to read the data from this file only. Okay, not from console. Okay, if say for example you want to say for example currently I simply want to retry one value. One line is there no in that file. Okay, so I'm using next line function to retry the next line. If I run this file now, it can print the first value, first record hello. If this file had multiple lines, if this file is having, okay, this file is having multiple lines, then all these lines can be retrieved by using next line function individually. It is tedious task, but still let me show it to you. You can retrieve this file like this. See, I'm retrieving 4 different lines. Now if I run this file, and it is going to print the first 4 statements of this file. Statement number 1, statement number 2, statement number 3, statement number 4. Which means that your next line is capable of reading line-wise data from your file. First thing. Another thing, if you don't want to write these lines like this, you can loop it up. Loop it up in the sense you can make your scanner object has next line. There is a function has next line which will return true or false based on whether lines are existing in your file or not, because your scanner is reading the pointer one by one. When it reads the first line, no, the pointer is pointing to the next line. Read the second line, no, pointer is pointing to the third line, fourth line. The pointer of the scanner gets shifted when you use next line all the time. So till there are more number of lines, no, keep on reading the file. Keep on reading next lines. So this also you can do. I can remove this line henceforth. Now if I run, it is going to read the complete file till it is having next line. It is returning true or false based on whether next lines are there or not in your file. Are you getting the picture clear? Yes or no? Yes, sir. Are you getting this scenario where you can use scanner to read the data from the file? Yes? Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. You can even use scanner like this, sir. And see, if the question, I'm giving you a general question here. If the question is in the sense, try to perform this question. If the question is, till whatever number of lines in the file are there, sum all the numbers and print the summation of these numbers in the file. You need to print the summation of all these numbers from your file. Then what you will do? You will simply do what? You will simply extract the value using next line, okay? And except for printing it, you can store them in some string, okay? And as they are integers, no, you can convert them into integer, okay? And you can create, some variable initially. And you can write sum equals to sum plus this past value, right? This is going to do the trick, no? And then you can print the summation. You can print the summation like this. So you can retrieve the data line by line from the file. You can convert that into integer because you want to sum all the records, okay? So convert them into integer. And then you can sum all the records. Whatever is there in the file, you can sum it like this. That is also possible. Huh? So whatever is the output, see, you can get 15 now here, right? And if the question is also at the same time, write this sum in the file. If the question is write this sum in the file, then I am creating the writer object over here. Okay, I am making it point to this F. I want to append the file, so I am mentioning it true, and I am writing here writer. I am writing here, that sum is simply, okay, sum is plus sum. So now this will be written onto the file and you close the string. Okay, now if you run the file, sum is printed over here, that is okay. If you go back to the file, your file is updated with the updated sum. Are you getting it what I am trying to do here? Is this example clear in your mind? Yes. Okay. So far, is anybody having any questions in file class, its methods, FileReader class, its method, FileWriter class, its method, and using scanner to read the data from the file? Anybody is having any questions in these topics? I'm repeating it again. File class, FileReader class, FileWriter class, and scanner class to read the data from the file. Okay. Then you are done for today. We'll continue from this point in the next session. Okay. But you will be receiving the practicals regarding copying the contents of the file. So just read it using scanner or FileReader and save it in a string and then write that string to another file. That is copying the contents from one file to another file. Those questions you'll be receiving in your lab manuals. Okay. So be prepared with these methods. You can use it in your lab manual. If you're having questions, you can ask. Otherwise, I'll take the attendance and then you all can leave the session. Yes. Yes, Ayush. Rohan, Bipin,
Present, ma'am.
yes, Manav,
Yes, ma'am.
Nuj,
Yes,
Riddhi,
ma'am.
Ma'am, Ayush present.
yes, yes. Riddhi,
Present, ma'am.
Riddhi is there. Yes, Raj, Dash,
Yes, ma'am.
Nancy, Nikita, Manthan,
Present, ma'am.
Amit Kumar,
Ma'am.
yes. Devansh,
Present, ma'am.
Ala,
Present.
Yashang,
Yes, ma'am.
Vipin,
Yes, ma'am.
Tushar,
Present, ma'am.
Yash,
Present.
Darshan, Manyar,
Present, ma'am.
Parmar, Beraj, Rishabh is there. Somebody is typing. Yes, Parmar is there. Okay. Rishabh is there. Ivanshi,
Present, ma'am.
Janvi,
Present, ma'am.
Bhanushali, Harshvardhan, Vijayaraj,
Present, ma'am.
Pradhanya,
Present, ma'am.
Bharti, Avinash,
Present, ma'am.
Nanju, Limbani,
Present, ma'am.
Arjan, Maharana, Tanmay Raj,
Yes, ma'am.
Jignesh
Ma'am,
Prasad,
Arjun present.
Jignesh Prasad,
Present, ma'am.
Anjwani, Sushil Prasad,
Present, ma'am.
Ruby,
Yes, ma'am.
Natik, Dharmik,
Present, ma'am.
Mohammed, Kunal,
Present, ma'am.
Nidhi, Arpit,
Ma'am, present, ma'am.
yes, Nidhi. Arpit,
Present, ma'am.
Meghna,
Yes, ma'am.
Yash,
Present.
Avdeep is not there. Divya,
Yes, ma'am.
Saifali,
Yes, ma'am.
Samir Alam,
Present, ma'am.
Isha, Vibhusha,
Yes, ma'am.
Om Parikh, Aditya, Kriplani,
Present, ma'am.
Present.
Aditya Jain, Jayadakant, Priyank,
Present, ma'am.
Tushar, Nikita,
Present, ma'am.
Girish,
Present, ma'am.
Pathik,
Yes, ma'am.
enrollment number 62, Shri, is there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, 61, 59, 60, 63, Hina,
Present, madam.
yes, 65,
Yes, ma'am.
73, Mohammed,
Yes, ma'am.
Darshan Raj,
Yes, ma'am.
Jaideep,
Ma'am, 7-3.
yes, you are marked as present. Jaideep, Smriti? Yes.
Present.
Yes. Vaishali?
Present, ma'am.
Vasu?
Present, ma'am.
Kunal?
Present, ma'am.
Everybody is there. Then you all can leave the session. Yes, 1, 8, 7.